Hi, I'm Kyle Kittleson, the host at MedCircle, your most trusted source for mental health, education, and information. This is my dog, Callie. As part of YouTube's Find a Way with Me campaign, I'll be sharing 5 research-backed strategies for improving your mental health that you can implement today. But listen, so much of the information out there, especially on wellness, doesn't necessarily come from credible sources. MedCircle does the work of sifting through the noise and providing science-based ways to actually improve your mental health. The strategies you're about to learn come straight from world-renowned psychologists and psychiatrists. And while I walk through these 5 techniques, I want you to leave a comment below this video with an example of how you can practice one of these strategies. This will help other people think of ways to implement these strategies in their own lives. That being said, let's get into it. This tip is from one of my favorite videos. We're all facing levels of stress that are out of the ordinary, and this stress leads to what psychologists call negative automatic thoughts. We might not even realize we're having them, but they still play a huge role in our mental health. Research even shows that negative automatic thoughts are linked to increased levels of depression. And because of social distancing measures, we're just sitting with these negative thoughts, so we may catastrophize our situation even more. In our first clip, triple board certified neuropsychologist Dr. Judy shows us a groundbreaking way to avoid harmful emotions, behavior, or relationships, all by focusing on your thoughts. This strategy is called cognitive diffusion. Let's take a look.
What is it? Well, cognitive diffusion is actually probably the most unique element to ACT. And it's because it really thinks about how we utilize language and how oftentimes we spend way too much time using language by sort of looking from them instead of looking at them.
Who?
Language. So thoughts, cognitive events. We spend time looking from a thought as opposed to looking at a thought as an event, as an external thing that isn't us. We have a thought and we immediately think from that thought, okay, assuming it's already true, what does that mean about me? What does that mean about the world? What does that mean about my tomorrow? What does that mean about my past? As opposed to, oh, interesting, there's a thought right there.
This is blowing my mind.
This blew my mind when I first learned about it.
This is so good. We normally respond from a thought.
Yep.
We act from a thought.
Yes.
I'm depressed. It is true. I'm going to... This person hates me. It is true, so I'm going to behave. Instead of, I'm having a thought that this person does not like me, where we look at the thought.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And that's hard to do. See, it's unnatural. We kind of have to
I had to say it out loud.
Do a little turn.
Yeah.
And I think that is inherent in a lot of human suffering, is the fact that we look from these thoughts. So when we have a thought and it's negative, we take it to be true. And if we're acting from it, it can lead to a lot of cascades of negative consequences. Some of the examples you already given. If you think somebody hates you and you're acting from that thought, you might say, well, you're not so great either. And then you get into a conflict with that person. Or you say, well, forget it. I'm just going to throw up my hands and never talk to this person again. I'm just going to disengage from them. And yet all of this came from a thought and not even what the objective reality might be. And so cognitive diffusion is all about taking a step back and saying, this is just a mental event, and I can choose now what to do, knowing that it's just my mind producing a thought. And my mind produces 20,000 plus thoughts a day. Do I act on all of them? No.
It's just a mental event.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Judy says, it's all about viewing our thoughts as external mental events. They don't need to drive our response to the world if we don't let them. Rise above these thoughts, and they become easier to manage. Wow, she does not care about cognitive diffusion. Callie, sit. Turn around. Good. Stay. Okay, ready? Many of us are spending a lot more time with family. With stress and anxiety on the rise, this can cause tension at home. So how do we manage stress that starts at home? And if we're suffering from anxiety during the pandemic, how do you talk to your family about it? Clinical psychologist Dr. Ramani is a relationship expert, and here's what she has to say.
Obviously, all mental illness and mental health issues have some impact on a family, right? Because at that time, somebody's not doing well, but then let's say that more broadly, illness and health problems have impacts on family systems. Somebody may not be able to engage in their parental roles, or somebody may need to be taken care of. Compromises need to be made. I don't care if that's somebody with chronic back pain, somebody with depression, somebody who's living with cancer, diabetes, anxiety disorder, borderline personality disorder. Well, obviously there are things that make a family healthier. Respect, connection, empathy, cooperation, compromise. It's, because a family's a unique system, right? For people, they're born into it, they grow up in it. It's how they're shaped. And so those things like healthy attachments, creating secure and safe spaces. So if I were to bring it down to a few words, it would really be safety, consistency, and empathy. It would be a cultivation of interest, because you care about what other people in the family are interested in. You don't just love them because they do the things that you're interested in. It's avoiding things like criticism and, especially cruel criticism. It's learning ways to talk things through. It's healthy communication. Those are the things that make a healthy family.
I think people are willing to do that for their family member with dementia.
But it does wear them out.
Yeah,
I'm calling, and no matter what, and we all wear each other out, but it does wear them out.
Yeah.
And that's where the family has to then be aware it's okay to take care of you. In fact, it's important. Listen, Kyle, love is at its core about compromise. You love someone enough, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It just feels like love.
Wow. You're so good. You're so good. Learning how to communicate with your family and friends about mental health is the first step in managing anxiety and maintaining your relationships during the pandemic. Plus, like Dr. Ramani says, it's okay to accept that this won't always be easy. Over here. Come here. Good. Good. Hey, simmer. Many of us are facing burnout and a lack of motivation during the pandemic. I get it. I mean, we used to film on entire sets with a crew, but now we're filming using computers and phones in a hotel room, but we make do with what we got. In our next clip, Dr. Judy Ho highlights 2 key strategies in staying motivated and avoiding burnout. One of them really surprised me, so let's take a look.
Well, I always think that it should start with, what are your values? We need to reorient our values if you're starting to feel burned out, just things are not working right, you feel empty sometimes even after you reach goals. Well, that's because if the goals are not sort of tied to your values, which is what you want your life to stand for, the most important things that you want to be and represent in your life, then they're not going to have much meaning. And so I think it's always a good idea to kind of check back in with those values, do the values card sort, see what your top 5 or 6 values are, and think about how much in your daily basis you're actually even making contact with these values. So
at work?
Yeah, if you find that one of your values is education or learning and you're just not learning enough at work, okay, that's the problem. Again, what can you do? What can you reconfigure so that you can make contact with that value at work?
I love this so much because it's such a step-by-step process that I know exactly what to do to get to the result that I want, which is feelings of satisfaction at work, feelings of enjoyment, of spontaneity, of just loving what you are doing. And it starts though with going back to you.
Yes.
Not going after your work, after your boss, after your coworker, after your patient. It's going back to you to start solving these problems, which is amazing.
Right. You have to center yourself as much as possible. So I think that that's one thing that I think everybody can benefit from. One of the other things that, people should also think about in terms of stress management is, just getting involved in hobbies again. I feel like sometimes you get so achievement oriented with your work, like everything has to be a check off of a box. Like, what about just doing something that has really no goal? Like, you don't have to achieve something, but you just do it for the enjoyment of it.
And this is coming from the queen of achievement, by the way. Like, at the start of the series, those are just some of her achievements. She has even more than that. But you're right. It's not just about that.
No, and I think that when you get caught up with that, that also can sort of perpetuate the burnout. Like, no, but I still need to meet this marker. I still have to make this happen, and I still have to see this many patients. Yeah. But something has to stop at some point, and you can't have everything in your life be achievement oriented. So just doing something that is something that you used to enjoy, but doesn't actually have a full, clear purpose of checking something off. Like sometimes I'll talk to people about this and they'll like do a hobby that's still very achievement oriented. Like they're like, I'm gonna learn ballroom dancing and I'm gonna learn 5 songs and then I'm gonna compete. I'm like, not that any of that's bad, but like, can you also pick a hobby where there's no achievement? You're just kind of doing it because it's fun.
Yes, exactly.
Like what about that? Like I'm like, I mean, not everybody loves this, but I'm like, what about flying a kite? Like there's literally no achievement really related to that.
Well,
I mean,
and you do trapeze.
And I'm not trying to be a circus performer.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, I just like doing it for the fun of it.
Yes.
Or people who say, well, I really like knitting, but I gotta knit 5 hats. I'm like, or not. Or just knit and whatever.
Yeah, knit and watch The Office.
Yeah.
That sounds
I have
great.
been doing that right now, actually. I've been rewatching everything, all of the episodes of The Office. So,
yes, because it's so good. That's
good.
my wellness technique.
Yeah.
Studies show that cultivating values can lead you to develop intrinsic motivation, which is a predictor of feeling like your life has meaning. And sometimes the best way to find motivation is to take time to be unproductive. Identifying your values and finding an unproductive hobby are 2 things you can do right now. By the way, this advice is especially helpful to health professionals and frontline workers who are facing high levels of burnout at work. As many kids and teenagers are learning remotely, their mental health may be impacted. But most kids and teens have trouble communicating feelings of anxiety or depression. Your first step is recognizing that they're trying to tell you they're feeling anxious or depressed. There is a right way to do this, and Dr. Ramani shows you how in this next clip. Plus, she shares how you can begin the conversation if you feel it's needed.
When it comes to specifically talking to your second grader, the person watching this, if they're a parent, how would you recommend that they sit down and talk to their child about depression, anxiety, their introversion, if their child's an introvert, and social media and the like?
Number 1, talk to your kids in words using feelings and encourage them to use feeling words.
What is that?
In other words, how was your day? I do this conversation with my daughter every day. Like we were driving home, how was your day? And she'll tell me what happened. But if she tells me something that happened that might have sounded difficult, how did you feel about that? I'm lucky. She'll talk about her feelings all day, all night. But that comes from a lifetime of talking about feelings. My job as a parent, and I've been very mixed at this, I've probably gotten it wrong much more than I've gotten it right, is listen to my children's feelings and not try to fix it.
Ooh, hard.
Very hard. So one of my daughters says, I'm sad. Okay, what do we need to do? It's like, hold them, sit with them, maybe even cry with them. But I've too often tried to fix it, and that was not the right thing to do. So I think that be with our children's feelings and don't try to rush them out the room, like the feelings. Like say, okay, well, there's a feeling in the room. Let's, it's time to watch. Let's go have dinner. We as a parent, you have to catch yourself because the temptation is like, I don't know what to do, or you don't want to see your child sad or worried or scared.
Of course.
And sometimes if you just let them talk about it, the feeling comes out of them. It just works its way through. The same with adults. Husbands and wives and husbands and husbands and wives do this with each other all the time, and partners do this all the time. They don't, that one starts talking about the feelings and they start yawning and looking away. You've got to stay present when people talk about feelings. That's a really, really big one.
I have an adorable 3-year-old nephew. When it was finally safe to see him, I made it a point to not only ask him what he was up to, but how different things made him feel. When he was playing, when he would get frustrated, even before and after dinner, I would check in with how he was feeling. He would start to actually think about that for the first time at 3 years old, what that means to feel happy or feel a little frustrated. Even at such a young age, we can start to help those young kids get in touch with their feelings and their emotions. Listen, no parent is perfect, but this strategy can make a tremendous difference in a child or teenager's mental health. Good girl, you stay right there. You're doing good. You're earning your paycheck. It's hard to feel good about ourselves when we're feeling depressed. We blame ourselves, overthink our mistakes, or view our actions in the worst possible light. There's an incredibly effective but surprising way to combat these feelings. Board-certified psychiatrist Dr. Sue Varma shows you 3 ways to do this.
So I would tell people 3 things as supporters. Give the person you love help and hope. Give them support and help them have fun.
Okay.
So hope can come in a variety of ways, by sharing either your own personal experience, and I think that that's something that people don't do enough, is to say, you know what, I've experienced depression, I had a really hard time, I found a therapist, I found a community, I found exercise that I really like, I found medication. Share your story, so provide hope in that way. Let them know that you will be there for them. Just say, I'm here, I'm going to help you get through this. We are going to get through this together. Mm-hmm. So that's the hope part. The support part is in whatever concrete way you can offer support. If that means helping them find a therapist online. I've had friends that literally I've said, come to my office after work, and when I'm done, I will help you. We'll put in your zip code, we'll put in your insurance. Like, let's find out like who resonates with you. And if you have any expertise, if you have a therapist that you like and that therapist can recommend somebody else to your friend, it might even mean taking them to their first appointment and sitting in the waiting room. It might even mean, if you want, you can say, I'm happy to join you with the therapy if you feel strange about it and you want a second opinion or whatever. So offer support in whatever way you can. And then the fun part for me is the most fun, which is like asking them those key questions, is like, what do you enjoy doing? When's the last time you did it? And can we do it together?
So good. Really quick and easy, and they always sound obvious, but people I don't think they think they're allowed to do it.
Yes.
And you have just given them permission. You can do these things. You don't have to feel uncomfortable and awkward about somebody else's depression.
Yes.
You can give them hope, show them support, and then do something fun with them.
Yes.
I love it. There is some amazing research on this. A recent study shows that when people focus on compassionate goals, aka goals that aren't selfish, they experience better mental health and better relationships. However, when they focus on self-image goals, or goals that are focused on gaining status or gaining approval, both symptoms and relationships can worsen. I was diagnosed with depression when I was 9 years old, and conducting all of these MedCircle interviews has taught me a lot. But one thing it's really taught me is the power of caring for somebody else or someone else to get you out of your own head. When I care for Callie, it is a mindful experience. It is a nurturing experience for me. And yes, it's good for her, but the mental health benefits for me of caring for a pet cannot be underestimated. With these 5 coping strategies in your toolbox, your stress, your anxiety, your depression, they can improve. There is hope. I can't wait to read your comments to see what strategies are working for you. We're in this together, and we can and we will get through this. I'm Kyle Kittleson. This is Callie the Lab. And remember, whatever you're going through, you got this. Oh, dang, you're tired, huh? She's like, no, let me do the last line again. I'm Kyle Kittleson. This is Callie the Lab. And remember, whatever you're going through, you got this.